Hey everybody, great to see you today. This is a short video of the main points of the collapse of the Soviet Union. I'm Mr. MacDonald. It's going to be about 5 minutes. So, why did the Soviet Union collapse? One of the biggest things is you can't forget the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. The Soviets invaded Afghanistan in 1979, and by 1989, the Soviet army was weary and it was time to leave. And if you take a look at this photo, you can see the Soviet soldiers fighting on both sides of them. You can see a wrecked military vehicle, and this is sort of the kind of ambush the Mujahideen would usually lay for the Soviets. And some people even call the Soviet war in Afghanistan the Soviet Vietnam. And during the Cold War, the United States did supply the enemies of the Soviets with our latest military technology, causing a war that the Soviets couldn't win. Mikhail Gorbachev, right here, you can see here's Mikhail Gorbachev. He is going to be the last communist leader of the Soviet Union. After the Soviet Union collapsed, it became Russia. And his policies of glasnost and perestroika are going to allow openness and some business reform that's going to ultimately cause people to question, communism under Russia. Breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991. The Soviet Union is going to be no more. Okay, it's going to be no more by 1991, and things started with the fall of the Berlin Wall leading to the breakup. This picture is very interesting. It shows right over here the last time the old Soviet flag, the red Soviet flag of communism, was over the Kremlin in Moscow. And then this shows the picture when it was replaced with the flag of Russia. This is huge, and this was the instance when it happened. Very historic. The Cold War is ended, and communism will be over in Russia. 1989, if the war in Afghanistan helped cause the end of the Soviet Union, the end of the Soviet Union, the end of the Cold War was also caused by the fall of the Berlin Wall. And here it is when East and West Germany were finally reunited. And you can see the Berliners reuniting at this historic picture when East and West were finally reunited and the Soviets let this happen. Gorbachev worked closely with President Reagan, and this is in 87. Reagan and Gorbachev finally signing a treaty, and this was big. The Russians and the Americans were ready to, begin the process of ending the Cold War, and it's going to happen. One of Gorbachev's policies in Russia was glasnost. It's a policy of openness. And in Russian, it means openness and transparency. And in the 80s, Gorbachev, it was his political slogan. And he said there should be increased transparency of the government of the Soviet Union. And because of this transparency, people would protest, people would rebel. And the Soviet soldiers in this picture didn't run over these people with their tanks and shoot and kill them. And this gave other people hope that, yes, they could protest and maybe get out from underneath that Soviet rule. And open policies like that helped show that it was true. Here's another picture. The Soviet military was called to crush a protest. The protesters were there. They're not armed. The military refused to fire, and the military refused to kill these protesters. And it showed the world that the grip of communism in the Soviet Union was lightning. Perestroika, it was a political movement by Gorbachev in the Soviet Union, and it was basically his policy of reform and openness. And he wanted to restructure the Soviet economy. He knew that he had to bring in some ideas of capitalism because the communist economy in Russia was falling behind. Capitalist economies, especially, falling behind the United States. And the Soviet Union is going to restructure.